Good evening, everyone. So for tonight, for this day or for this week, we will be discussing about atomic structure. And at the end of this lesson, you get to know, you will be able, you will know how to identify the number of protons, electrons, neutrons, atomic mass, mass number, and that's it. And of course, you get to know the structure of an atom together with the subatomic particles. All right. So basically, you will relate the position of an element in the periodic table to its atomic number and atomic mass. And you will also know the nucleus of an atom. Of the atom is much smaller than the atom, yet contains most of its mass. So last time I did a video lecture about the development of atomic structure from the earliest period up to the latest or up to this time. You get to know the different model. Okay, so you also realize or know that all matter is composed of an atoms, and atoms cannot be subdivided, created, or destroyed in an ordinary chemical reactions. However, these changes can occur in nuclear reactions. Okay, and atoms of an element have a characteristic average mass which is unique to that element. And atoms of any one element differ in properties from atoms of another element because they differ in terms of the number of protons, electrons, neutrons, or in general, the subatomic particles. So we also did discuss this one, the discovery of electron by J.J. Thomson using this experiment, the cathode ray. Okay, so I did this one. You know this already. And yeah, and in that experiment, okay, the conclusion, the proponent or the scientist concluded that cathode rays have identical properties regardless of the element used to produce them, and all elements must contain identically charged elements. Okay, and atoms are neutral; they must be positive particles in the atom to balance the negative charge of the electron. So these are the conclusions, or actually the discovery after that experiment. Okay, and here we also discussed this one, the Thomson's atomic model. He believed that electrons were like a plum pudding. Okay, this one. Okay, naka-embed dito ang mga electrons. Okay, they were scattered, evenly distributed, embedded in positively charged pudding. Thus it was called the plum pudding model. Okay, this is just a review, a run-through of what we have discussed so far. We also have this Rutherford's gold foil experiment. Ano sila, after this experiment, they realized that nga ang ray daw naga-bounce, naga-bend, and they infer or they concluded nga there must be something in a particular gold kanang sheet of gold there. So it must contain some kind of particle or subatomic particle that enables those rays to bend, to pass through. Okay, so that was the experiment of Rutherford. Okay, and these are the findings. Okay, most of the particles passed right through. A few particles were deflected, and very few were greatly deflected. Alright, so these are the conclusions of Rutherford. The nucleus is small, it is dense, and the nucleus is a positive charge. Now we'll go back to the meat or the gist of this discussion for tonight, which is about how are you going to identify, for example, if you are given a periodic table of element. So dapat kabalo na ka to identify what are these numbers are representing. Okay, unsa na siya nga number? Unsay pasabot ana? Okay, that's basically the thing that we need to learn tonight. Okay, so I'm going to show you a particular element, this one. Okay, in your periodic table of element, you may download. There are available resources. Okay, where you can download periodic table of element in PDF file. Okay, kung gusto mo. So this is an individual element. Okay, which has a lot of numbers. Sa iyang mga sides, so we'll identify them one by one. Okay, first, that number 2 there, it symbolizes or it represents the number, atomic number. Okay, and beside it, the 4.0026, that's the atomic weight. Okay, And of course, that He stands for helium. That's a symbol. Okay, and below it has its name, helium. And there it has a geometrical shape there. It means that it is a structure. It's a crystal structure. Okay, and below and here also 1s2. That's the electronic configuration. Okay, and 23, that's 23%. That means the abundance of that element, okay, sa kalibutan nato, or in the environment, or in general sa kalibutan. The abundance, it's 23%. Okay, and the boiling point there, it shows in the lower right corner. Okay, that's negative 269 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's the boiling point. Imagine, negative 269 degrees Celsius. Grabe mag-boiling point niya. Okay, mabuhay ang boiling point. So, below there, below the helium, it shows you the structure, the atomic model of a helium element. Okay? There you have proton and neutron all together inside the nucleus, and outside, okay, outside that, parang sa orbit siya. Okay, it's orbiting, or actually the electrons. So, if we are going to count them, we have 2 electrons, 2 neutrons, and 2 protons. Now, take note, there, the atomic number, it represents the number of protons, actually, including the number of neutron. Okay? And take note also, later on, you'll realize that the number of proton is equal to the number of electron. Okay? So, to further our discussion, so this is actually the diagram in order for you to identify easily the numbers being represented in the periodic table, including the elements. So the X there is actually the atomic symbol. It can be oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, boron, anything. Okay, there are a lot of elements present in the periodic table. So the X there, that's atomic symbol. It is usually abbreviated. So sometimes HE, O, Li, AU, okay, IN, okay, TU, tangs at TN, okay, TI, anything, okay? It is usually abbreviated, okay, to represent atom and chemical formulas. Okay, beside, okay, kanang Z, that's atomic number. And take note, atomic number is actually the number of protons in an atom. Okay, so kung pila yung atomic number, that's the number of protons, okay? And above that, you have letter A there, that's usually the mass number. So the mass number is the aggregate or the total number of protons and neutrons all together, counted all together, because as you know, protons and neutrons are found inside the nucleus. Kanang pinaka dere. So we have protons, that's a positively charged subatomic particles, and that no charge, that is the proton and neutrons. Okay, so the mass number is actually the aggregate number or the total number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus. Okay, so there, if we are going to draw, okay, if we are going to illustrate or show in a diagram, okay, how a carbon element looks like, okay, so it has 12 there, so meaning it is the mass number, it is the aggregate number of protons and neutrons. So 12, that's the number of protons and neutrons. If we are going to count, okay, you check, pila man ka plus dira, the positively charged particle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6, plus neutrons with the subatomic particles with no charge. So there are also 6. So if we're going to count them all together, that's 12. Okay, so that's the mass number. Okay, and if we're going to count, okay, those particles outside the nucleus, which is actually the electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6. So basically, ano siya, equal ang protons og electrons. Later on, you will know that one later. All right, so here it shows you a table with the atomic number, atomic mass, number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Actually, I'll be giving you an activity for you to complete a table like this. So there you have the following elements. You have calcium, tin, iodine, silver, neon. So basically, maybe in your exam, I will include this one. You are going to complete the table. But take note, it's just very easy. Okay, do not worry. Because there below, okay, natay mga cue dra or clue. Okay, so you know already that the atomic number is equal to the number of protons and the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. So basically, si proton electrons parehas slag number. Okay? Si atomic mass, you know that it's an aggregate number of protons and neutrons. When you count them all together, the protons and neutrons inside the nucleus, that's the atomic mass. Okay, but how are we going to identify the number of neutrons? It's basically, i-minus lang nimo ang atomic mass sa iyang atomic number. So you'll get the value of neutrons. Okay? These are the formulas in computing for the atomic mass, atomic number, and neutrons. Okay? We have three atomic particles. We have electron, proton, and neutron. So you know that electron is negatively charged. Okay, proton is positive while neutron has no charge. So the mass number of electron is 0, the proton is 1, and neutron is 1. Okay, where is electron located? It's in the cloud outside the nucleus. Okay, nasa sa labas. Okay, but in terms of protons and neutrons, it is located, or these are located inside the nucleus. Okay, nga nag-usa na sila do. Alright, so what is atomic number? So that's the Z. Okay, it's an element of the element. It is the number of protons in the nucleus of each atom of that element. Okay? So for example there, sa carbon, the atomic number is 6. That means it has how many protons? 6 also. Okay, phosphorus has 15 protons, gold has 79 protons. Alright? So how about mass numbers? So it is the number of protons and neutrons altogether, okay, in the nucleus of an isotope. Okay, later on, I am going to discuss a bit or a short discussion about what is an isotope. Okay, so you have the formula there. The mass number is equal to the protons plus neutrons. Okay, for example, we have oxygen. Okay, it has 8 protons. So how much is the electrons? It's 8. Okay. And the mass number is 18 because 18, i-plus lang nimo ang 10 og 8. Okay? Because the mass number is equal to the P, positive, the proton, and neutron. So 18. Alright, nga nung 8 ang electron because basically, electron is equal to the number of protons. Okay? So we have arsenic. Okay? So that's it. So yung electrons is 33. Because it is the same as the number of protons. Okay, the mass number is 75. Okay, plus nimo ang protons and neutrons. Okay. Next is phosphorus. Okay. So I hope you know how to complete the table. Okay, using the formula. Now, what is an isotopes? what are these isotopes? I mean, so these are atoms of the same element having different masses due to varying number of neutrons. Actually, the same lang sila nga element. Pero, when you check their number of neutrons, they differ. Lahi ang number sa ilang neutrons. But actually, the same lang sila. Okay, for example, we have hydrogen. We have isotopes, types of isotopes. We have protium, deuterium, and tritium. Actually, they are all the same, hydrogen. Okay? But when you check the number of neutrons, iba-iba ang neutrons nila. So, sa first, hydrogen, it has 0 neutrons. As the second has 1, and the third has 2. So they differ in terms of the neutrons. Okay? So basically ganito ang illustration or diagram or ang dagway, okay, sa mga isotopes. Okay? Isa lang ka isa lang ka proton, okay? Na siya neutron, na siya proton, kini na siya duha ka neutron, na siya 1 proton. So basically, to make para dili kay mo maglibog, isotopes the same lang nga element pero lahi lang number sa neutron. Okay? So atomic mass is the average of all naturally occurring isotopes of that element. Okay, for example, we have isotopes carbon 12 to 14, 12, 13, 14. Okay, the symbol symbol is 12, 13, 14 on C12, C13, and C14. Okay, so basically, again, isotopes like number of neutrons. Okay, for example, you have carbon 12, 6 neutrons, carbon 13, 7 neutrons, sa 14, 8 in neutrons. Okay, so therefore, that 12, 13, 14, unsa na siya? Atomic mass. Okay, because it's the aggregate number of protons plus neutrons. Okay?